There's an alarming new trend that's rapidly reshaping the country and the world right before our very eyes, and almost no one is even paying attention to this. But in this video, I'm going to show you what's happening, why you should care, because it's really happening fast and it's going to change things faster than you might think. So stay tuned. All right, welcome back. If you're new to the channel, my name is Mark Moss. Now, I believe that the only security we have in life is for us to take responsibility for ourselves. The system's broken and no one is coming to save you. That's why we must learn to make money, grow our money, protect our money on our own. And if you agree and you want to hear more of these topics, click on the like button. It helps more people learn about these topics. And then, of course, hit the subscribe button and the bell notification so you're notified every time I put a new video out. Now, today I am talking about some things that are happening really fast, and the world's changing really fast, right? I talk about it all the time. I think that history books will be written about this period of time right now. And the big point that I want to talk about today is that we cannot control the world around us, all right? We can't control it. The media seems to control it, and they control us with a narrative. And whatever narrative they want to push is the narrative. And what I mean by that is that whatever they want to be the thing is the thing. If it's a virus, then it's a virus. If it's a protest, it's a protest. Whatever they want to be the thing is the thing. We cannot control that. What we can control is ourselves, our minds, and our actions. And of course, you are. That's why you're watching these videos. It's why you should care about your wealth. It's exactly why you should care about your wealth, to protect you and your family, because it gives you options, it gives you power. But options for what? All right, let me explain. Now, there's a headline that just came out this week that caught my eye. The headline read, "Hundreds of billions of wealth has been lost as rich residents flee the city and state of New York." All right, that caught my eye. And what does that mean? And what should we dig into that? Now, hundreds of billions of dollars have left the city and state of New York, and that was big news, like I said. And not just for the week, it's really the beginning of a new mega trend. And, of course, as investors, we're always looking for trends. We want to ride the wave. I'm a surfer. I look for waves coming, trends coming, and I want to ride them. And this is the beginning of a new mega trend. And I've been talking about it. I've been talking about this trend already. It's a trend that has massive implications for where you live, and I've been talking about this. Now, the little trend that started was with the boomers, the baby boomers, the largest segment of the population, the retiring people right now, and it started to gain momentum during the COVID pandemic when more people wanted to move. But now it's really starting to catch fire. It's getting bigger and bigger, and I'm talking about the Great Migration, all right? Now, like all migrations, people, just like animals, they're gonna be on the move. They're on a move to a better location, to better conditions, and to better their lives. Now, like I said, I've reported in previous videos about the boomers, the retiring people. As they're retiring, they want to sell their McMansions in expensive states, and they with expensive taxes, with freezing cold winter conditions, and they want to move to areas that give them better options, right? They want to move to places that better options, such as lower cost of living, much bigger homes for a fraction of the price they were paying, no state income taxes. Weather, of course, is a big one. I mean, forget shoveling snow in the winter, right? They want to play golf and tennis year round. Of course they do, right? They're retired. Now, this trend, like I said, started accelerating with the pandemic because now people are fleeing these over-congested cities, especially after being locked down into little apartments, not being able to go outside, inside of a city. And so people want to move to places where they have more room, big open spaces, things like that. But it's not just the room. All right, it's not just the room. Like I said, it's also the cost of living. And besides the cost of homes, what is your single biggest expense? Anyone? If you guess taxes, you'd be right. All right, when it comes to investing, I've always believed that money goes where it's treated best. So instead of having your money sitting in a bank earning 0% interest, you should move it into an asset that treats your money better. I always say that we worked really hard for our money, and our money should be working harder than we work. Now, while people are probably feeling the same way, we're also witnessing a massive exodus of wealthy people fleeing these expensive, high tax areas, and they're doing it in droves, which is back to the headline we were talking about. Now, we're watching this all unfold in real time in New York, like I said, based off that headline, and it's a perfect illustration for us. Now, New York is one of the most wealthiest states in the whole country. I mean, of course, right? It's the financial capital of the country, it's financial capital of the world. I mean, Wall Street's there, right? So it's the wealthiest area, one of the most wealthiest areas in the world, especially, I mean, compared to states like Oklahoma, Montana, other states like that. No offense to anybody in those states, but it's not the financial capital of the world. Wall Street's not there, right? And on top of having Wall Street, on top of being the financial capital of the world, they also have the second highest tax rate in the country. So they have almost a 9% state tax. So on top of the federal income tax, you have to pay an extra 8.82% just to live in the state. They have another almost 4% city tax, 3.8% city tax just to live in New York City. And then their property taxes are still pretty high. They're about 1.23 on average property taxes. So the taxes are really high. And even with the largest revenues because of Wall Street, even with the largest revenues because of the highest tax rates, the extreme mismanagement of the state, its businesses, and its economy has left the state and the city finding themselves way short on money, like way short. And not just a little short, right? A way short, a whopping $13 billion short. Now, of course, what's the typical answer that government comes up with this? Oh, well, let's just raise taxes some more, right? No, never mind that we already have the highest taxes. We're 13 billion short. Let's just raise taxes again, right? Let's not worry about managing our money. Let's not worry about cutting some spending. No, forget that. Let's just raise taxes, right? Well, guess what? Eventually, it stops working. And as a matter of fact, it's not working so well anymore. It's not working at all. And it's the start of a very dangerous, and it's an interesting trend that you need to be paying attention to. Because anyone that could get out of the city, like the rich have, and like I said, they've been leaving in droves, well, they left. And what happens when they leave? Well, guess what? They take their tax revenues with them. Now, a few days ago, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, he went to the media and he was pleading, and I mean like literally begging the wealthy to return back to New York City. He said he's talking to people all day long who have left for the Hamptons. He said Hudson Valley, Connecticut, and he tells them all, quote, "You have to come back." And he said, quote, "When are you coming back?" He even resorted to bribing them. In his own words, he said, quote, "You have to come back. We'll go to dinner. I'll buy you a drink. Come over. I'll even cook." That's what he said. I mean, they're desperate. So now Cuomo said that the state legislators used to be worried that if they added more millionaires' taxes, people might leave. But now they've already left. Now they're trying to get people to come back. But why would they come back to a city that has so many problems? It looks like a war zone downstairs. Oh, and by the way, to come back and live in a war zone, you're also going to get a big tax increase as well. Why would they come back? Now, according to a report from New World Health, New York lost over $336 billion in the last 12 months, ending June 30th. Now, that was the total wealth compared to 2.6 trillion compared to 3 trillion for the same period. That's a massive number. $336 billion were lost. Now, there's not enough billionaires to come back that's going to cover that $336 billion. Even if those billionaires came back and they took all their money, 100%, it's not going to close the gap. So look, here's the lesson that just never seems to be learned. And I guess it is that, all good intentions and socialists, they miss this, all right? And it's something called human motivation, intention. And basically, if you penalize someone enough, they're going to leave or they're going to quit, right? You can't just keep going. You can't just keep adding this up. You raise the taxes high enough and you let the city fall to shambles. They leave, right? So you can't bully entrepreneurs. You can't bully wealth creators because people, just like dollars, are going to go where they're treated best. Now, the U.S. was set up as a republic, okay? People think the United States is a democracy. No, the United States is a republic. If you live in the United States, you grew up saying the Pledge of Allegiance, you know that to the republic for which it stands. And the difference is that a republic is decentralized. Now, I talk about Bitcoin a lot, and I talk about the ability to have something decentralized. Now, the United States was also set up to be decentralized. So what that means is that each state should be its own independent state. And so what that means is that if I'm not happy paying 14% state tax in California, like I am, then you can move to Nevada, Texas, Oregon, Florida, or any of the other numerous states that have zero tax. If you don't want to pay 9% in New York plus a 4% city tax, then you can move somewhere with no tax. But guess what? it's not just happening in the United States. As a matter of fact, people are leaving the United States in droves. And not just leaving, but something way more dramatic, something way more permanent. You see, as a U.S. citizen, no matter where you live, for the rest of your life, I can move to any country in the world and never come back to the United States. But because I'm a U.S. citizen, I get the benefit of always getting to still pay up to 38% of my income to federal income taxes. And there's absolutely no way around this one way around it, unless I denounce my citizenship. And today, people are surrendering their U.S. citizenship in smashing records. I mean, in more than we've ever seen. The total for the first half of 2020 is already almost 6,000 people, which tops the previous full year record set back in 2016. And it's not just the rich that are moving overseas trying to get out of taxes either. It's a lot of everyday Americans that are living overseas. We see teachers, whatnot, that are living over there, and they're just tired of dealing with this. They're tired of the IRS claiming a cut of their income even when they live and work overseas. And if you think this is normal, it's not. The U.S. is the only developed nation that taxes your income, no matter where you earn it. It's the only developed nation that does this. And on top of the tax, it costs about an average of $2,000 to comply with this. Now, according to Alistair Bambridge, whose Newark accounting firm helps Americans overseas with the expatriation process, basically giving up your passports, he said, quote, "The current pandemic has allowed individuals the time to review their ties to the U.S. and decide that the current political climate and annual U.S. tax reporting is just too much to bear," end quote. Now, again, like I said, this is a big trend, and it's something that you need to be aware of because it's growing really fast. And in my opinion, it's actually a good thing, all right? The reason why it's a good thing is because when businesses compete, customers always win, all right? As customers, we get better products, we get better service, and we get them for a better price. Now, I also believe that when cities, states, and even countries start to compete, then we should expect the same thing. Better products, better services, and better pricing from the governments, right? But the point, back to what I said at the intro, is that we have to have enough wealth to be able to have these options, all right? Only the wealthy are leaving New York. All the other cities that are falling apart, the wealthy are leaving. Unfortunately, the people that don't have the money, they're stuck there. So unfortunately, the trend of higher taxes and more oppressive government and even more violence is probably going to continue, at least in certain areas. And will you have the option to leave for a better place? Only if you make more money, only if you can grow your money, only if you can protect your money, like we talk about on this channel, you'll have the option to do that. What's the point of having money? You just want to stack it up? You want to be like Scrooge McDuck and say you're rich? No, you want to have wealth so you have options. Do you agree? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you want to have options to protect yourself or your family if you need to? Of course you do, right? Is it one of the reasons that you're building wealth? I hope it is. Now, if you could afford to, would you leave? Would you be willing to move to another state or another country that actually wanted you, that actually competed for you, that offered you better services, better value for your cost of living? Or would you just stay in the same place no matter how bad and how expensive it gets? Let me know in the comments down below. I want to hear what you have to say about this. Give me a thumbs up on this video if you like it. If you don't like the video, like always, give me a thumbs down. I don't care. I just want to hear from you either way. Again, leave me comments down below. If you want me to break down any more of these things into bigger videos, again, let me know about that as well. And that's all I got for you today. To your success, I'm out.